Hey, beautiful souls, beautiful sunshine here with DR Holistic Healer. So I want to give y'all this quick intuitive message that God Soul Spirit gave to me earlier. So y'all know Samson and Delilah in the Bible, right? So it not only was referring to Samson and Delilah in the Bible, but it was also in Matthew, the book of Matthew. I think it was Matthew 12. It was talking about, hold on. And God had brought this word to me like early when I was cleaning. Okay, yeah, it was talking about the Pharisees and slander, right? But the point of the matter, it was talking about the point of the matter was talking about basically oh God. So because I recorded this video earlier, I accidentally trying to delete another video. So anyway, I'm going to summarize it up in as much as I can. So basically, it was like God was just basically saying, or Jesus was saying, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. Thank you, Holy Spirit. So I say all that to say, to just kind of water that down just a little bit. And I'm sorry, that's Matthew 12. Verse 25, and it says, and Jesus knew their thoughts and said unto them, I'm sorry, I didn't read that part. Every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. So if you think about it, God gave me that message, and he also gave me the message of Samson and Delilah, right? So if you think about the story of Samson and Delilah, and you guys can either go and read that, or you can Google, you can watch a little quick YouTube version of what was the message of Samson and Delilah. So what had happened was, to water it down really quick, so I'm not being politically correct right now. But excuse me. But in so many words, it's like Samson, he was a man of I was kind of almost getting like he was the man of like childlike. He was like pure at heart in a sense. So I say all that to say it was like he was probably a little bit, not probably, he was a little naive. You know, he was, his heart was really open, and he really loved people, should I say. So I say all that to say like, and it's so funny because as I'm sitting here saying this, I kind of find myself once upon a time being like Samson in a sense. But I say all that to say because, you know, as I was telling that story earlier in the other video, I thought to myself, I was like, wait a minute, that sounds almost like me in a sense. So there was a once upon a time where Samson was, you know, was just open and free and love caring. And, you know, like I said, you know, his heart was like being weighed on the scale, like the heart of a child in a sense, and a little naive at the same time. So anyway, with that being said, Samson's parents didn't want him to mess with particular women because God had basically told their family not to mess with particular women. And the women were was it the Philistine women, if I'm not mistaken? You guys can Google this for yourself. Like I said, I'm somewhat of the nature. I'm trying to re-quote it. But anyway, I believe it's like the Philistine women or something like that. But anyway, so to me, that was a representation. I was like, okay, God, like I don't want to call out a particular race of people because, to be honest with you, we're all mixed with some of any and everything. So Spirit was just bringing to my attention that, you know, Philistine woman can be, you know, any type of race today because, like I said, we're all mixed with something in some sort of way. But it's more of the energy that the person carries. And Spirit was bringing to my attention, if you think about the stories of like Medusa, you know, just trying to mesmerize people and so on and so on. And then if you think about, you know, just how people didn't want to look her in the eyes because it was almost like she was going to try to control them. And then if you think about Delilah and her spirit, whether it be a Jezebel spirit or whether it be the spirit of just trying to control or, you know, break a man down or, and excuse me, thank you, Spirit. And Spirit is also bringing this to my attention. This can happen either which way. It could be, you could flip the roles as well, too. It could be a Samson and Delilah woman, or a Samson woman and a Delilah man. So take it how it resonates. But anyway, the point of the story was he married this woman and he was told not to. So he kind of went against what God had asked him to do. And she was the cause of his downfall. So with that being said, I don't know who needs to hear this. So with that being said, because he ended up marrying her anyway, she caused him, again, his downfall. She was never for him. She was against him. So I say all that to say is going back to the message of what Jesus said, or talking about, a kingdom being divided, and so on and so on. So again, because he married her, they weren't on the same page. They would be considerably like equally unyoked for whatever her personal agendas was. She basically went to the guards had came to her. It was an opportunity, because again, her heart wasn't in the right place. So instead of her unconditionally loving her husband, she had a hidden agenda. Whether you want to refer to it as, I'm hearing Spirit say, whether it was like a spirit, thank you, Spirit. Whether it was a spirit of like Adam and Eve in a sense, like, the whole apple thing or whatever. But it's almost like, being deceived, or whether she was coming from a place of being deceived, or whether just her heart wasn't right. That's not for me to say, don't nobody really know, because we all know that everything that's in the Bible, we only based it off of what people had written down. So we weren't really there. And, sometimes we all know when you play the telephone game, sometimes information can get a little distorted by the time it reaches the end, in a sense. But anyway, so with that being said, the guards had basically came to her and said, yeah, try to get him, to give you some information or whatever. So that alone, because she was deceiving him already, that just lets you know that she didn't have a heart for God, because one, she's deceiving her own husband that she had made a vow to, in other words. So with that being said, and then they was just plotting against him, and she wanted to know his secrets of what would make him weak. Why would you want to know what makes a person weak? I say all that to say that, that's a situation between God and that person, not necessarily trying to, and this just goes to show you like how some people have been, and God. And the reason why I'm delivering this message, thank you, Spirit. The reason why I'm delivering this message is because some of you guys don't know that when you've been asked to release certain people, it's because sometimes they want to know your weaknesses and use it against you in a sense, so you have to understand that sometimes you don't see what God can see, and God can see everything. So if he's asking you to release and he's placing upon your heart to release people, it's more so probably better off that you do so, rather than it being a situation of, really just taking a person, well, I don't want to say taking a person out. That's kind of what came to mind. But anyway, so in other words, she deceived him not only once, but twice. And, trying to get him to tell her what makes him weak. And, at first he was listening to his intuition and he didn't tell her. And then all of a sudden, she came with trying to seduce him in some sort of way. And then all of a sudden he let his guards down. That's why it's so important to have boundaries with people, and not be driven by, outward appearance, but have self-control. By having self-control and not to manage addictions is what I'm hearing as well too. If you should be someone who suffer from like addictions or whatever the case may be. Anyway, so that's why it's so important not to get caught up with people outward appearance, because, sometimes people use that to try to entice people, and, that can be a detriment to their soul is what I'm hearing. Anyway, so what I'm trying to convey here is basically that was a situation that God is talking about, like a house that is divided. So in other words, she and him took a vow, and the two of them are not even on the same page. So where God knew what type of woman that he didn't want him dealing with, because this, thank you, Holy Spirit. And you guys don't know this, but I tried to record this video earlier, but I accidentally deleted the wrong one. So Samson and Delilah has been kind of coming up here and there. And every time it comes up, the first person that comes to my mind, and this is no target to this family, but it is what it is. It's the energy, not the race of the people. It's the energy that these particular people carry. So with that being said, it's almost like the Kardashians keep coming up. So again, I'm not targeting them. It's just like, that's what Spirit just keeps kind of revealing to me, just that type of energy. If you look at the situations of the like the situation that Kanye West finds himself going through. If you look at the situation of like, you know, the situation of like that Lamar had went through, you know, and I don't want to get into details about it, but I just basically wanted to say it's almost like these people seem like they were kind of almost being destroyed in a sense. So again, it's that type of energy of the people that you deal with. I know I had a discussion, or I was talking to my kids one time, and I was sitting up there basically saying that, you know, for me, where am I going with this conversation? Hold on. I just lost my train of thought. So what I was going to say was, it's, oh, thank you, Holy Spirit. It's not the fact of people dating outside of, date who you choose to want to date or whatever the case may be. But for some particular reason, if you feel like you are only dating a particular race of person, and obviously there's some sort of hidden agendas, well, not hidden agendas, well, obviously there's some sort of hidden reasons of why you only date that particular person, or that energy, should I say. And I say all that to say, because sometimes we need to stop in and ask ourselves, is this healthy, or am I coming from an unhealthy place in regards to my desires to only particularly have to be how can I say, I don't want to say fantasize, to seek a particular race of people. So I say all that to say, you know, you just have to be mindful, because one thing I'm learning on this, have learned on this spiritual journey too, sometimes you can have these soul contracts and, you know, soulmates from the past, and sometimes they like, it's almost like they have an energetic hold on you from previous lifetimes in a sense. And that's why I said earlier about some karmic debts being paid off and stuff. And so it's almost like people were meant to go their own separate ways, you know. As I said in the other video, like some people will go their own separate ways, and some people will not come back together in a sense, you know, because the lessons have been learned, and people have, they were meant to stand in their own personal power and basically break the cycles, in other words. So anyway, but with all that being said, we all know that Delilah was the downfall of Samson. So again, I don't know who needs to hear this story. So basically, she was able to find his weakness and used it against him. And that was his downfall, even to the point of they just like totally... And I felt so bad for him. Like they totally just took his eyes out and, you know, just tried to make him as weak and reduce him down to 0 and less than. But because he had that relationship with God, and God gave him back his strength to the point of being able to destroy every last one of those people who had their hands against him, in a sense, you know, it's almost like in the end, he was able to, he couldn't live his life after that, but he got his revenge in the end, because God allowed him to, you know, to just push those pillars over and destroy everybody that was in the little temple area or whatever. But anyway, so I say all that to say, do you know who you sleeping with? Do you know who's in your household? Because right about now, you guys should just be mindful of who you have in your household, because, you know, all day long, people can pretend like, you know, they're for you when they're really against you. But on that note, Spirit say end it there, and I'm about to end it here. So anyway, with all that being said, I will say this one last time. Every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. So on that note, much love, much light, and I say peace and blessings. Bye.